Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about why I am rebranding and why I am making the big decision of changing my business name. I'm also going to be introducing you to my new business name, which is really exciting. So stay tuned to find out what the new name will be. So, the first thing I want to talk about is the importance of names. I have always believed that names are really important and the meaning behind names, which is a big reason why I decided to make this decision. So, for example, if you look up the meaning of your name, you're going to find out that it has a certain meaning, it carries a certain meaning. And I have even seen how, even in business, this plays out both energetically and strategically. And I'm going to speak to all of that. But the first thing I want to share really is the story behind my current business name. So, for those of you who don't know, my current legal business name, well, was until I changed it, Social Business Bosses LLC. The origin of this name is the reason why I am making the decision to change it. So, what a lot of people don't know is the story behind when I created this name. I incorporated Social Business Bosses in 2019. And at that point in my life, I was at the absolute lowest moment I have ever hit in my life. I was in a deep depression. I was experiencing a lot of loss. There was a lot of loss happening for me externally, internally, loss of like who I was, my identity, the life I thought that I had, the life I thought I was building. Like it was complete and total tower moment, which looking back, was absolutely necessary at that point in my journey. But at that time, when you're in that season, it's just very hard to understand why you're going through it, right? And because of the season that I was in, because of the loss that I was experiencing, I found myself in a position where I had businesses before this point. I had a business I was running at this point, but I found myself in a position where I now needed to go and start my own business, incorporate my own business, because one of the losses was a business that I had with another partner. And because of the state that I was in, right? Because I was in deep depression, because I had a big loss of identity, because so much was shifting for me, I was obviously not in a creative state or in a creative mode. And coming up with a business name was really, really challenging for me. Um, why? Because I had no creative energy and I was really just doing it out of a place of need. So that version of myself went and came up with Social Business Bosses, right? That was what I could muster up at that time. Came up with Social Business Bosses and filed for the business name and incorporated as an LLC. Now, many, many moons later, um, I have gone through such a tremendous healing journey. I have gone through such a transformation of self, of figuring out who I am and who I want to be in this world. And obviously that journey always continues. I have just, my life is in a completely different place. Like I'm a different person and I'm in a completely different place. And the name Social Business Bosses, I think because of where it originated, the season of my life that it originated from, the me that it originated from, has never truly resonated with me, especially the more that I continue to grow and the more that I continue to shift. And what's interesting is there was a point in time on my business journey that I decided to play with a different name. I never made any legal changes or anything like that. And some of you might have seen this, but I did bring in the name The Sorcery for a little bit. And that was when I started to bring in more of the energetic side and work into my business. So I played with that name for a while. And what's interesting, you guys, is, and this is why I believe in the power of names. What's interesting is that what happened at that time is that I had my social business bosses, right, name, business, and Instagram account, which is currently active, around 1,500 or so followers. And I could feel that the energy of that business had grown stagnant, right? And I do think a part of it was I had shifted so much in my own identity. I had changed so much in who I was and who I was becoming. And I believe that our businesses often reflect our own growth and our own journey. And I decided to bring in another name to play with, and I did. So I actually completely abandoned my social business bosses account and started a brand new Instagram account from scratch with 0 followers and started to use this new name, The Sorcery. What's wild to me, you guys, is that with that account, right, I had the social business bosses account with 1,500 followers. I could feel the stagnant energy, shifted to a completely new account, brand new followers, new name, new business name. That year, with less than 300 followers, I only had 200 and something followers, I had my first 6-figure year. Why? Because the energy had shifted because of the name, because there was a shift, right? And this is, again, the power of the name. The name was more in alignment with where I was on my journey, with who I was in that season. I was no longer holding on to this old and stagnant energy. So I played with that name for a while. I eventually shifted away from it and then went and decided to focus on just a personal brand. So just my name, right? Because social business bosses continue to be my business name behind the scenes. So I decided to focus on a personal brand. So my Instagram and branding started to center around Natalia Amador. Now, that also continued to do well for me. Like, if you build a business around your own identity and you're true to yourself and you are authentic, that's not going to be stagnant, right? So, what's crazy is that I have now experienced a personal name change. And I did not expect that I was also going to be invited into a business name change, but that's exactly what happened. So for those of you who know or don't know, I got married in November of this past year. And obviously with, getting married, you have the conversation, am I going to take his name? Am I not going to take his name? Am I going to make this change? Long story short, I decided to take my husband's name. And so my personal name had a change. And it's very powerful to me because the reason I was hesitant to change my name is because my last name, Amador, actually comes from my grandmother. So I come from a matriarchy of very powerful women. And my grandmother is actually the reason why I am in the US. She is the one, well, part of it, right? Like she chose to immigrate to the US. So my dad was born here, and then my mother was the one who immigrated to the US as well. But carrying my grandmother's name to me has always felt like such a privilege, also because she helped raise me. And so I just come from a lineage of very powerful women, and I wanted to continue to carry that. And what's beautiful is that because I have never had a middle name, I decided to make that my middle name and take on my husband's last name. So as I was going through this transformation, right, of going into marriage and changing my name, I started to feel the invitation to change my business name and to come back to social business bosses and to revisit it and to say, hey, I'm actually building something so much bigger than just me, because I'm always going to have like my own personal brand. But at the end of the day, I realized like what I have and what I want to create and what I want to build is a company. I want to create a company. I have a company, right? Like that's the reality. I have been able to build this big, beautiful, successful six-figure business, and there's more places where I want to grow it to. There's more spaces that I want to take it into. There's more that I want to do with it. And so when we think about building wealth and generational wealth and just creating something that is beyond us and that we can pass on, it truly comes down to creating something outside of ourselves that comes from us, but isn't just us, right? And at the end of the day, the reason why I do the work that I do is to empower women. And so when the invitation started to show up for me at the end of last year to revisit, this idea of I have my company, I have this name, it doesn't resonate, um, it really just became clear to me that that it was time to come up with a new name, that it was time to come back to a company, something bigger than me, something outside of myself, and something beyond a personal brand. And so this is when I decided to put it out into the universe, right? Because I was like, yeah, I'm a different person. I'm in a different place now. I need a name that matches the woman I've become and the type of business that I want to create. And I knew that it wasn't something that I would just be able to come up with on my own. Like I knew it was going to be this divine download name that was going to just drop in. And so I put it out into the universe, right? And I was like, all right, what's the name? What's the name? Like, help, tell me, give me something, drop it in, right? I tried to chat GPT it, that did not get very far. And then the name came to me. And even as I think about the name, you guys, it makes me emotional because it's a reflection of not just my personal journey and how far I've come and how much I've overcome and how much I have created for myself, but it is meant to have its own identity and also be something that resonates for other women who have also come really far, who have also overcome a lot, who have also chosen the path of themselves and a better and bigger life for themselves. And I knew, like, as I was coming into 2026, that this was an invitation for me to have a personal name change and a shift in energy there. And I know amazing and really good things are going to come from that, but also to have a shift and change in the energy of my business. And that invitation came in through a new name as well. And so the meaning behind my new business name actually goes back to the mission that I had when I very first started this business many, many years ago in 2019, even before that, because that's just when I filed for it, but I was actually doing coaching before that. It's the same mission. The name is just more aligned with it. And my mission has always gone back to my experience. When the way that I even first started coaching, you guys, it was a total accident. I didn't really know about coaching. I didn't think about coaching. I started my first business, which was a digital and print magazine. And when I started that business, I had a lot of women approaching me. They would come to me and they would say, hey, how did you start your, because it was a blog I turned into a magazine. How did you start your blog? How did you start your magazine? Like, I have an idea too, and I want to turn it into something, but I don't know how. Can you help me? And because I had so many women reaching out and asking me, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to invite all of these women to come. We'll get together and I'll help them. They can tell me their ideas. I can help them bring it to life. And so I just decided to post on Facebook, right? Because this is when Facebook was really cool back in the day. And I decided to post on Facebook and I just said, hey, if you're a woman and you have an idea, you want to start a business or you have a vision, you want to turn it into something, come to this house, this address, this time, this day, and I will help you. And I posted it thinking, maybe 3, 4 women will show up. I can help them and we'll see what happens, right? And that day, 30 women showed up. 30 women showed up, and I was shocked because I was like, oh, like all these women are here. I was not expecting that. Some of them were women I barely even knew, and we just had happened to be connected on Facebook, or they drove from far away. And I was like, all right, okay, let's do this, And honestly, I didn't really know what I was doing. I just knew that I wanted to help them. And that's how I started coaching. And that day I helped these women. We, heard their ideas, started bringing it to life, and I committed to helping them. So I said, all right, we'll keep meeting weekly, show up, and I'll help you. And I would help them, and I did, and that's how it started. And I realized, like, wow, I'm really passionate about this. I really love this. I love being able to partner alongside a woman and say, what is your dream? What is your vision? I will help you bring it to life. And so that's when I started back in my first business, which is when I was 22 years old. I'm 34 years old now. And so from that moment on, I continued to coach women on the side while I continued with my magazine. When I sold that business and then started a digital marketing or creative agency, continued coaching on the side. And I knew that I wanted to go full time into coaching at some point. But I also understood that like I needed to get more business experience under my belt, right? Which is why I had these other businesses, product-based, service-based. I really wanted to understand and continue coaching on the side to understand how do I really help them, because it's one thing to know how to do something, but then to be able to successfully teach somebody else how to do it is a different story. So it was kind of like my training ground, right? I'm helping you for free on the side, and I am building businesses and I'm figuring this out. So that was like my version of a business school. And I did that for years and years and years. So then come 2019, right, when I have this total loss of everything and I have to go incorporate my own business, this became my opportunity, more my kick in the pants to go full-time in coaching, because I was actually very, very, very afraid to be a coach. I was afraid to call myself a coach. I had to face a lot of fears. I was scared of marketing myself. I was scared of posting pictures of myself. I was scared of being on video. Like, I had to face so many fears to become a coach. And that was the kick in the pants that pushed me to do it. It forced me to do it. And at the time, when I started coaching, there were not a lot of women of color in the online space. I've been in the online space in the business world now over a decade. And when I started, there were not a lot of women of color. And so naturally, I would attract a lot of women of color clients. And what I found for myself is that I would enter spaces and places and say, I'm going to make a seat at the table, right? I'm going to make a seat at this table, and then I'm going to pull up chairs and invite as many women as want to come and join me to come and join me. And so I would find the spaces. I'd be like, all right, I want to be here. I want to be here. I want to be here. I'm going to pull up the chairs. Who wants to come? All right, come on in. You're welcome. Come on, sit down. Anybody is welcome who wants to be here, and make that space. And that was my mission from the start, was for women of color to be able to come in and feel that they belonged, especially in spaces where they don't feel that. And then number two, for me to have a table big enough and continue to grow that table big enough to fit as many women as wanted to be there, to know you can start a business, you can turn your dream into a reality, you can build whatever it is that you want to build and create and make it happen, and not be limited by society and what people say you can or can't do, and really take it into your own hands, take your power into your own hands. And so that was always my mission, and that continues to be my mission. I want women to know that they can do anything they desire, to feel empowered to do it, and more importantly, to be able to do it in community and know that they are not alone and have the support and guidance that I wish I would have had when I started, because I did not know what I was doing, and I learned the hard way what to do, what not to do, and wasted a lot of time and money. And I want to help women avoid all of that. So that continues to be my mission. That alongside um, my culture, right? Like as a Latina, as a woman who is Mexican, Mexican American, I love our culture. Like I love my culture, and I love the fact that if you walk into a Hispanic home, they're going to welcome you, right? They're going to make a seat for you at the table. They're going to serve you a plate of warm food. And it's not about how much you have or don't have. They will give you their best, and they will make you feel welcomed. It's the hospitality. And so, this concept of sitting at a table and knowing you're welcome there, right? Knowing that you belong, knowing that you can make your dreams come true, and that you are doing it in community with support, with guidance, and that you are not alone. Because the best way to grow, the fastest way to grow, and the best way to succeed is to help each other and to be there for each other and to support each other. And that is exactly what this mission and vision continues to be. So as it continues to grow and become what it's going to be, I will share more with you guys, but I wanted to share the story with you as well as the name. So I'm super, super excited, you guys, to welcome you to, imaginary drum roll, the Poderosa Network. I get all the like butterflies and like fuzzies and tinglies when I say it. It just feels so good. It feels so good to say it. It feels powerful, because that's exactly what it is. For those of you who don't speak Spanish or don't know what poderosa means, it means powerful in the feminine. So essentially a powerful woman. And this was birthed from a woman who had to literally rise from the ashes. And it is a call for other women to rise from their ashes and their stories and their negative narratives and their lineages they want to heal and the wounds they're ready to overcome, right? And to come into a table and say, I get to build on the story of my ancestors. I get to build on the work of my ancestors. I get to heal the parts that they didn't get to heal, and I get to continue the beauty of my culture and the beauty of our stories and what we carry. But it's ultimately helping women see their power, right? Because no matter what I do as a coach, whether it's business or energetic or whatever it is, one thing has always been extremely clear to me, and that is that I am here to help women come back to their power. Because when a woman knows her power and she is aligned with her power and she has awakened her power in all of its fullness, she becomes unstoppable. She can create anything she desires. The impossible becomes possible. Why? Because she understands that she is creator. She understands that she is a force of nature. She understands that she holds a piece of the sky and the earth and her lineage in her blood, in her DNA, the warriors and her ancestors. She carries all of that in all of her fullness. And she learns to awaken and unravel the depths of herself, the good and the bad. She understands how to take it all and alchemize it and turn it into her power. And she realizes that there is nothing wrong with her, and that everything that she has ever gone through has been perfectly knitted and woven together to bring her to this moment in time to help her be exactly who she is today. And when a woman can own that in all of her fullness, in all of her glory, she is a freaking poderosa. And that is what this movement is. That is what this community is. That is what this network is. And it's going to build itself because it's going to be women coming together, right? I'm going to continue coaching. I'm going to continue consulting. I'm going to continue growing, building, evolving this into what it wants to become. But it's guidance, it's leadership, it's mentorship, it's helping others, sharing what I have to share, right? Bringing others in to feel welcomed. And it's honoring my culture, it's honoring my lineage, it's honoring the woman that I've become today while creating a company that is bigger than me, right? Something bigger than just me. It came from me, it's birthed from me, and I'm here to nurture and guide and mentor and lead in whatever way I can. But ultimately, it has its own identity, right? It's its own entity, its own being. And I'm so excited for you to meet her, for all of us to get to know her and let her become who she wants to become. Let her evolve and be who she's meant to be in this world with all of our love and all of our support for each other. So I'm so excited, you guys. You're going to see me start to rebrand a lot of things. So like the Social Business Bosses account, I'm going to start rebranding all of that. I am still going to continue having my own personal brand as well. So I'm still working out a lot of logistics behind the scenes and like I said, just very organically letting this evolve the way that it wants to. So I'm gaining clarity and understanding of here's what I will continue to do within my personal brand. Here's what will be birthed or now housed through the Poderosa network. So I'm still working through all of that, but you guys will be part of the journey with me. But this is her inception. This is her origin. This is her being birthed into the world. And it's something that I'm just so excited about. And I'm just so grateful to you guys. Some of you have been following me since the Social Business Bosses days. I actually just had that realization with a client. We were like, wait a minute, you were following me from here, now you're over here, and now you're a client, and now look at you. And at that time, she didn't even think about starting a business. So you never know when inspiration's gonna strike and you're gonna find yourself wanting to create something. So I'm so excited. I can't wait to share more, but that is what I have for now. Thank you guys for being part of the journey. I would love to hear from you. Let me know what you think about the name. Let me know what ideas you have, what you would like to see. There's so much stirring in my heart, but I am just taking it a step at a time, letting this evolve the way it wants to evolve. And I hope you guys are as excited as I am. So thank you for tuning in. Welcome to the Poderosa Network, and we shall see what magic unfolds from this inception.